Can long COVID be treated in the same way that fibromyalgia can? Hi, before I get started, please subscribe to my channel. I like to think I've got some useful information and I'm adding to it all the time. Hi, I'm Stephen Bissett, pain specialist at Zin Hypnotherapy. Recently, I've been noticing a lot of discussion online about long COVID and its similarities to fibromyalgia, because there's almost like a grey line between the two in some cases, where long COVID has severe fatigue and in a lot of cases now severe pain all over the body, in the same way that fibromyalgia often manifests. So I started looking into this when one of my clients mentioned that her and her boyfriend both had COVID, and while her boyfriend recovered within the usual time frame of say 2 or 3 weeks, she didn't, and in actual fact she developed severe fatigue and pain and had been suffering for 2 years before she came and saw me. So she caught COVID fairly early on in the pandemic. Now, Kelsea had been going to the doctors for tests and they were talking about long COVID, but she did get diagnosed after a while with fibromyalgia. Now, I'm picking up that even the doctor found it a little bit of a grey area whether it was long COVID or fibromyalgia, which does make me wonder whether the two can be treated the same. Because if Kelsea had got that diagnosis wrong and it was long COVID, well, I did manage to treat her very successfully. And you can see a link to her video in the comments. So, if you or anyone you know has got long COVID, I would be very interested to know whether they can recover in the same way that my fibromyalgia clients can recover. So I'm not talking about pills and medication here. It's a technique I use called Old Pain to Go. Every fibromyalgia client I've had so far, I've managed to clear 90% of their symptoms in one session. They often come back for a very short session just to clear any niggly residual aches or pains. But in that first session, they can get back on with living a full and proper life, pain-free, fatigue-free. So if you do know anyone suffering from long COVID, or indeed fibromyalgia, I would encourage them to come and have a chat with me, just to see if there's anything that can be done. Like I say, I'm not a doctor. I don't expect my name to be in the New Scientist or some medical journal saying I've got some breakthrough. There's plenty of discussion in the forums that I'm in for hypnotherapists about this. So I'm not saying anything new. I've not invented it. If you want to know more about how I treat people and what techniques I use, how successful they are, what success rates I've had, please just give me a call. Details in the message below.